What completely legal things, when done in public, make you look like a psychopath? There's a guy in my town that has a portable karaoke and casually walks around singing to himself and dancing. He's not a busker or entertainer, just in another world. I wish I had that guy's confidence. Is he any good? I hope he's fucking awful. That'd make me enjoy his presence more. Like, imagine hearing him coming from down the street and he gets louder and louder the closer he gets, and it just out of tune awful music. That's exactly what it's like. Digging at night. Oh, what that is? That's just my Halloween decoration. Sir, it is November. We've had one, yes. What about second Halloween? Elevances? Lockpicking the door to your own house because you've lost your key. Did that a few years ago at my old apartment. A few times actually. Then the hair salon downstairs was broken into one night. Back door had the lock picked. I then quickly became the prime suspect. Luckily I was in the next state that night due to a morning funeral. Got there a day early because I wasn't going to be a Palborough right after a 4-hour drive. Believe it or not, caskets are fucking heavy. Brushing your teeth. Just straight up brushing your teeth in the street. I was in a Costco and this random old man came up and talked to me. Proceeded to tell me he was a retired dentist and pulled a toothbrush out of his pocket. Always got it on me. He also didn't seem fully there since he asked if I, 14-year-old girl with braces, was married to the person I was shopping with. The person was my cousin, who's like 20 years older, and we were surrounded by his children, which I was obviously too young to have produced. He was one of the 9 dentists who recommend that toothbrush. Plot twist, he's the one who didn't recommended that toothbrush. I'm not sure if other people see me this way, but I always feel like a creep when looking straight ahead alone. I feel like the person in front of me is gonna turn around, see me, and think I'm a creep. What's worse is I forcefully look around, but I also feel like that's weird, and that people will think I'm trying to make it look like I'm not looking at them when I really am. It's a weird dynamic. Edit. Holy crap, I honestly had no idea so many people had the same thought. I thought I was just some weirdo with this. Thank you for giving me advice on how to deal with this. I stare at the person as I approach, and when I'm close I smile and nod while giving the peace sign as I pass. What I hate is when I'm behind someone and they're a slow walker, so I have to walk unusually fast to pass them, but I don't want to slow down afterwards because now they've already seen my pace and I don't want to seem like I'm tired or out of shape. I'm tired and out of shape. Walking around drinking a glass of water from home. This is awesome. It's so subtle but really weird. If you get used to doing it, it can turn so much weirder really easily as well. My Saturn's cup holder was a little too loose for a Coke can, way too loose for a bottle, and too tight for the big cups you normally use in a car. But it perfectly fit a 12 ounces double-walled tumbler, or whatever you call those really thick plastic cups. Like, unless it was filled to the brim it would never spill, because it literally couldn't joggle. So on more than one occasion I would show up to someone's house with a glass of juice or soda in my hand without even thinking about it looking like I just came from their kitchen. It always led to some of the weirdest looks you've ever seen. Friend shows up at your door with a can of Coke in his hand. Perfectly normal. Friend shows up at your door with a glass of milk. Really fucking strange. Double standards, I tell ya. This one time my ex-girlfriend asked me to pick up her prom dress from a friend. I went to the friend's house at around 9 PM and picked up the dress. She gave me no coat hanger or anything, so I just carried the dress in my clenched fist. As I was walking back home through a dark alleyway it occurred to me that my hand is pretty sweaty and the dress might actually start smelling bad from all the sweat of my hand. I wanted to check the situation, so I smelled the dress. As I was standing in the alleyway in the darkness of the night, smelling a red dress that I was gripping in my sweaty hand, I saw a woman standing several feet from me, scared shitless, reaching for something in her purse, a phone, a pepper spray. At that point I became more scared / embarrassed than her and ran off. I assume that to this day she's telling her friends a story about how she was almost murdered by a dress stealing maniac rapist / murderer. Edit. My first award ever. Thank you, kind stranger. This is amazing. What unfortunate timing. Or perhaps fortunate. For my amusement. This reminds me of what I did the other day at work. There was a very dainty and craft related looking paint. Retail. Weird for being in the automotive section. So I sniffed it. I swear I just was curious about the smell. I'm a strange person. Anyways, at the exact moment I lifted the small jar of paint to my nose, the cute new hire came around the corner, met my gaze, and we just stood there in what felt like the longest 2 seconds of my life. I slyly got out of this situation by mumbling something about I swear I was just smelling it and then asking about her day. Sorry about that new girl. I still get a good laugh when I think about it on my lonesome, which also seems strange when I'm just chuckling to myself in a quiet empty aisle. Ironing in the front yard in your bathrobe. My mom legit started vacuuming the lawn one day when I was in high school. This sounds like the beginning of a bad flashback. It all started when I was a little boy. I was walking home from school with a couple of friends. They thought I was cool. But then my mother steps out of the house. And you know what she does, Perry the platypus? She vacuums a lawn. What kind of madman would do such a thing? In a hoe. My friends all laughed at me and never talked to me again. That is why I created this. Behold, the Soul Vacuuminator. Now, I know what you might be thinking, Perry the platypus. Who doofenshmirtz? What does this inator do? Well, I'm glad you asked, Perry the platypus. With this inator, I'll be able to suck all the souls of the tree state area, leaving everyone, besides me, zombie-like, leaving me the only one capable of ruling the tree state area. There. Who story time. My old landlord's husband was clearing out a bunch of stuff recently after an operation. And the dude collected medieval weapons that he had to get rid of. Asked me if I wanted one. I said sure, it would be pretty sick. So walking back to the car at 10:30 at night, in pitch black, lit only by street lights, I discovered there is no way to hold a two-handed axe without looking like a crazy person. Edit. For those asking, this is the axe I mentioned. Me in the photos, https://imga.com/a/kvep strolls casually down the street, whistling with a two-handed axe over one shoulder. I teach medieval combat. So been there, done that. Bonus points if you can sing the March of Cambrieth. How many of them can we make die? Close bracket. Wear your pants and shirt backwards. Talking alone / to yourself. I do it sometimes when alone, but it makes you look like a crazy person if you do it in public. My teacher told some fun stories. These were all completely legal, deactivated items, mind you. 1. Cycling along and crashing. He spilled a full batch of grenades on the road. 2. Driving with a trunk full of weapons. He noticed that the RPG was sticking up and blocking his rearview mirror. So at the next red light, he quickly hops out, goes back, takes out the RPG, fiddles with the rest of the guns, puts it back in, then waves to the driver behind him. You know, sorry for being that guy. He then notices that the car behind him is one of those money trucks, with two drivers sweating profusely and pale as a wall. And there are trucks parked on either side. It looked totally like they drove into a trap and a guy was going to RPG them for the cash. It's fine to carry around human bones, legal specimens, in creepy looking boxes. Everyone in my anatomy class was given a box and we took public transit with it while smelling like death. You could literally see creepy people on the bus move slowly away from us. Walking backwards. What about moonwalking everywhere? Op said it had to be a legal activity, not something that makes you a smooth criminal. Oh, you're bad. As someone who works overnight, gardening at 2 AM. When entering an elevator, don't turn back around to face the exit. Yay. This makes everyone else in the elevator really uncomfortable. Farting also does the trick. While staring really intense at someone in the elevator. Sitting on the steps of an escalator. Edit. I now know that this is dangerous, and thanks for 8k of you all for upvoting. Using an escalator as a stairmaster. That might be legal, but it's definitely against mall/store policy.